While time travel movies often spark excitement and intrigue, not all of them hit the mark. Despite having a fascinating premise, some films miss the mark due to weak plots, confusing timelines, or unrealistic portrayals of time travel. In this list, we'll explore some of the worst time travel movies, films that tried to explore time manipulation but ended up either leaving audiences scratching their heads or simply disappointed. Let's dive in. The Time Traveler's Wife, 2009. Based on the popular novel by Audrey Niffenegger, The Time Traveler's Wife stars Eric Bana as a man with a genetic disorder that causes him to uncontrollably travel through time. While the premise sounds intriguing, the execution of the film falls short. The film struggles to balance the romance with the time travel element, resulting in a convoluted plot and emotional disconnect. Many viewers found it difficult to understand the timeline and the purpose of the time travel, making it more of a confusing love story than a solid sci-fi film. Hot Tub Time Machine. Intended as a comedic take on the time travel genre, Hot Tub Time Machine is more of a hit-or-miss experience for many. The film follows a group of middle-aged friends who travel back in time via a magical hot tub, hoping to relive their glory days. While it has moments of absurd humor, the plot feels forced, and the time travel aspect is handled in a very shallow, slapstick way. Instead of exploring time travel's deeper consequences, the movie focuses more on cheap laughs and random antics, leaving little room for meaningful exploration of the concept. Timecop, 1994. Timecop stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as a time-traveling cop who works to stop criminals from altering history. While the concept has some potential, the film is plagued by predictable, formulaic action sequences, cheesy dialogue, and a lackluster plot. The time travel rules are inconsistent, and the narrative gets bogged down by the standard action movie tropes. While it's fun in a B-movie kind of way, it doesn't do justice to the time travel genre, and many aspects of the film just don't make sense in the context of its own rules. The Butterfly Effect 2, 2006. While the first Butterfly Effect movie, 2004, with Ashton Kutcher had a somewhat intriguing premise, The Butterfly Effect 2 fails to capture that same level of excitement or intellectual depth. This direct-to-DVD sequel doesn't offer much new or exciting in terms of time travel, and relies heavily on melodrama and predictable twists. The film takes the core concept of the first movie, small changes in the past leading to big consequences, and turns it into a poorly executed and overly complicated mess. The time travel rules are unclear, and the film's characters are uninteresting, making it difficult to care about their fates. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, 1991. While Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was a fun, silly romp through time, the sequel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, took the time travel concept and threw it into a bizarre, surreal plot that many found confusing and less enjoyable. The movie shifts away from the lighthearted fun of the first film and leans into absurdity and strange sci-fi concepts. The time travel element itself gets lost in a strange mix of existential dilemmas and weird, dreamlike scenarios. While it has a cult following, it didn't resonate with all fans, and many felt it strayed too far from what made the original fun. Star Trek Generations, 1994. While the Star Trek franchise is known for its brilliant exploration of space and time, Generations fails to deliver a satisfying time travel plot. The film's time travel aspect, involving the Nexus, a time portal that can transport people to any point in time, feels like an afterthought rather than a central plot device. The movie squanders the potential of the concept, and while it attempts to bring together the original and next-generation Star Trek casts, it falls flat in both character development and the use of time travel. The time travel mechanics themselves are clumsy and unexplained, leaving audiences frustrated rather than intrigued. Jumper, 2008. Jumper follows a young man with the ability to teleport to any location, but the movie attempts to incorporate elements of time manipulation that just don't work. The time travel aspects are barely touched upon, and the movie focuses more on the character's ability to teleport rather than any meaningful exploration of time or its consequences. The plot is thin, and while it features some decent action scenes, the time travel element feels shoehorned in and poorly executed. Ultimately, the film never takes full advantage of its premise and leaves a lot to be desired in terms of both time manipulation and storytelling. Time Machine, 2002. Based on the H.G. Wells classic novel, the 2002 Time Machine movie features Guy Pearce as a man who builds a time machine to travel into the distant future to prevent the death of his fiancée. The film's biggest flaw is its disjointed pacing and lack of emotional engagement. It veers off into strange directions, and the time travel mechanics are never fully explained. The film's visual effects are impressive for their time, but they can't make up for the thin storyline and the lack of character depth. Ultimately, it's a pale imitation of the novel and leaves a lot of viewers unimpressed. Frequently Asked Questions. About Time Travel, 2009. This British comedy attempts to take a lighthearted look at time travel, but fails to deliver on both the humor and the concept. The plot follows three friends who accidentally get caught in a time loop while at a pub, and while the premise has potential, the execution feels sloppy and forced. The film's humor is hit or miss, and it doesn't explore the consequences of time travel in any meaningful way. Instead, it relies too much on cliches and fails to take advantage of its intriguing premise. Kirk Cameron's Time Changer, 2002. Time Changer is a Christian time travel film starring Kirk Cameron, where the protagonist, a 19th century Bible scholar, travels to the future to see how the world changes when Christian values are abandoned. While the movie tries to provide a moral message, it suffers from poor production, weak acting, and a one-dimensional storyline. The time travel concept feels like an afterthought, and the film relies too heavily on preaching rather than developing a compelling plot. Despite its good intentions, Time Changer fails to offer anything more than a dull and overly preachy narrative. Conclusion. While time travel can be a thrilling and captivating plot device, some films fail to live up to the potential that the concept holds. Whether it's confusing plotlines, unconvincing characters, or missed opportunities for deeper exploration of time travel's consequences, these films represent the worst that the genre has to offer. While they may still have moments of enjoyment, they lack the cohesive storytelling and thoughtful engagement with the idea of time travel that makes the best films in the genre so memorable. If you're a time travel fan looking for a good story, these films might be worth skipping in favor of others that handle the concept with more care and creativity. But if you're in the mood for a guilty pleasure, these might still provide some entertaining, if not confusing, moments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Have a question or topic you'd like us to explore with AI? Comment below.